Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Again?
Nothing up my sleeve. Presto!
Wrong hat.
I take a 7.5.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
Hey kids, in addition to being comic book geeks, Englentine and I are also huge fans of cartoons and animation. The reason I bring this up is that June Foray died back on the 26th of July, which was 4 days ago as I record this. If you're unfamiliar with who June Foray was, she was a true treasure. She was the queen of the voice actors. And while she's most famous for voicing Rocket J. Squirrel in the classic Bullwinkle cartoons, she was also the voice of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other well-known cartoon characters. Now, I'm going to name a bunch of them later on in this video, but I'll be honest, if I tried to name them all, this video would be an hour long. Mel Blanc, who was of course the voice of Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny and all those wonderful Warner Brothers characters, and who's generally considered one of the greatest, if not the greatest, voice actor of all time, insisted that it was June Foray who was in fact the greatest and not him. Chuck Jones, the legendary animator, also once said that June Foray wasn't the female Mel Blanc. Mel Blanc was the male June Foray. In 1934, June Foray had her first voice acting gig as Oswald the Lucky Rabbit for Walt Disney. This was before Disney lost the rights and creative control over that character. Disney liked Foray's work and would bring her back to voice Lucifer the Cat in Cinderella, Lambert's mother in Lambert the Sheepish Lion, various voices in Peter Pan, multiple characters in various Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck animated shorts, and they actually brought her back in 1998 at the age of 81 to voice Grandmother Fa in Mulan.
Great. She brings home a sword. If you ask me, she should have brought home a man.
Excuse me. Does Fa Mulan live here? Thank you.
Woo! Sign me up for the next war.
In 1954, Chuck Jones invited Foray to the Warner Brothers animation studio voices for the Looney Tunes cartoons that he was creating at the time. As a result, she ended up voicing Granny, Witch Hazel, and every single other female character in the Looney Tunes stable.
Twiggy! Twiggy, where are you? Oh, there you are. I thought that cat was after you again.
June Foray did voices for Tom and Jerry, for Woody Woodpecker, for Scooby-Doo, the Jetsons, and the Flintstones. Although the Flintstones did turn out to be one of her great disappointments. In 1959, she auditioned for the role of Betty Rubble and did not get it. She was the voice of Mother Magoo in the Mr. Magoo cartoons. She was the voice of Crazy Cat. She did voices for many of the Rankin Bass cartoons of the 60s and 70s, including Frosty the Snowman, and The Year Without a Santa Claus, and The Little Drummer Boy, and Ricky Tikki Tavi. She voiced May Parker in Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. She was Jokey Smurf, and Mother Nature in The Smurfs. She was Medusa in Birdman and the Galaxy Trio. She was Jane Kangaroo in Horton Hears a Who.
Horton, for almost 2 days you've run wild and insisted on talking with persons who've never existed. Such carryings on in our peaceable jungle. We've had quite enough of your bungling bungle.
Bungling bungle.
When Mattel needed a voice for their Chatty Cathy dolls, they hired June Foray. And when Twilight Zone producer Rod Serling wrote an episode about a murderous Chatty Cathy doll, naturally he went to June Foray to voice it. She was Raggedy Ann in Raggedy Ann and Andy. She was the narrator of The Adventures of Curious George. She was Lena Hyena in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Magica De Spell in Ma Beagle and DuckTales, Madame Argentina in Powerpuff Girls, Mrs. Cauldron in Garfield. She was the voice of the librarian in the American dub of the anime adaptation of Little Nemo in Slumberland, which was the subject of our most recent History of Comics video. And of course she was the voice of Cindy Lou Who in How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why?
Guests visiting the Disney parks can hear June Foray's voice when writing the Pirates of the Caribbean. She's the wife of the man being dunked in the well, shouting, "Don't tell them, Carlos." And of course there's the roles for which she is most famous. Rocket J. Squirrel and Natasha Fatale on the Rocky and Bullwinkle Show. She was, in fact, the only female voice actor in the cast of that show, which means that she not only played Rocky and Natasha, but she played Nell Fenwick in the Dudley Do-Right cartoons and Ursula in George of the Jungle.
George,
Oh, hi, fella.
for the last time, I am not a fella, and that isn't a dog. It's an elephant.
In addition to her work as a voice actress, she was a tireless crusader for the preservation and promotion of animation as an art form. She was the principal force behind the creation of the Annie Awards, more formally known as the American Awards for Excellence in Animation, which she herself won in 1996. She was also nominated for and won 2 Emmy Awards for Outstanding Performer in an Animated Program in both 2012 and 2014. She was 93 at the time, which makes her the oldest person ever to win an Emmy, and she also has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. As I said at the beginning of the video, June Foray died on Wednesday, July 26th in Los Angeles, just shy of her 100th birthday. I think Hank Azaria, one of her colleagues in the world of voice acting, said it the best. There's never going to be another June Foray because they don't make them like her anymore.
Think, darling, think. There must be something really rotten we can do today.
I'm thinking, but the worst I come up with is helping to make Moose and Squirtle show 1 hour longer.
Oh, just like you, darling. Always trying to help others get a little more pain out of life.
Kids, thanks for joining me on this tribute to a true giant in the field of animation. If you're not familiar with June Foray or her wonderful voice work, I do encourage you to seek out the many, many cartoons that she was a part of. If you liked this video, please click like and maybe share it with your friends. If you like what we're doing here at I Love Comics, subscribe if you haven't already done so. And if you feel like helping us out, we have both a Patreon page and a VidMe page. There are links below that you can use to hop on over to those if you want to drop $1 in the till. And again, thank you very, very much for watching.
What do I do about Natasha? And he said, well, she and Boris come from Pennsylvania. They don't come from Russia. So don't make her Russian, real Russian, you know. Make her sort of continental. So that's what I did. And she turned out fine.